Hi friends, Dr. Jim Daly here. Apophis, the god of chaos and darkness, the Egyptian god of chaos and darkness. Who is Apophis? What is this about? In 2004, astronomers discovered what they call a near-Earth object, an asteroid, and named it Apophis. In fact, the full name for this asteroid is 99942 Apophis. Okay, and that name, if anybody's interested, you can go to Jet Propulsion Lab in NASA JPL, to the Small Planet, the Solar System Dynamics website to look up all the particulars about any given near-Earth object, or NEO, or asteroid. Okay, this is the orbital data for 99942 Apophis. It was discovered in 2004. Ever since that year, the orbital characteristics and properties of the asteroid have been worked out, modeled, and there was a period of time between 2009 and 2013 where there was a real threat to the Earth, and that this asteroid could be on a collision course with the Earth. Now, subsequent modeling, computer modeling from that point forward until the current time, basically removed the threat. It's no longer a threat. Okay, in fact, the threat metrics are as follows. Okay. Okay, this is by date. Okay, here we go. 2016. Assessed Apophis as having a 6.7 chance in a million, or 1 in 150,000, of impacting the Earth in the year 2068, or 9 in a million, or 1 in 110,000, of impacting the Earth at any point between 2060 and the next century. Okay, the asteroid's orbital elements place it at about 1 astronomical unit from the Sun. Right here, right? Here, if you look at this table, it's 0.922 astronomical units. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Earth to the Sun. So the orbit of this asteroid is like at the same distance almost as we are from the Sun. Okay, its period is 323.6 days, right? Or 0.89 years, almost 9/10 of 1 year. Okay. The 2029 passage of this asteroid was thought to pose a threat back when it was first discovered and these data were obtained. Okay. But that is no longer the case. All right? That doesn't change the fact that there could yet be another near-Earth asteroid, another one that poses a threat to the Earth. Now, we've deployed a lot of amazing observational hardware platforms like the Hubble telescope in space. Now, the James Webb telescope is coming up and scheduled to be launched in May of 2021, March or May of 2021. Okay, right now we're trying to get the 30-meter telescope built on the large island of Hawaii. All these extra eyes on the sky will help us discover these threats to these are existential threats to our species and to the Earth, not just to the biosphere in the case of climate change, but they are existential threats to life on this planet. If we are now at a point in our technological evolution where there is a possibility that we could change the course ever so slightly, or modify the trajectory of that asteroid in such a way as it could miss the Earth entirely. Now, you take a look here at this video. This is a video of the orbit of Apophis right now. Here's the Earth. These are known satellites. All right, and we're going to watch Apophis come in from the lower right. Here it comes. This is the 2029 passage of Apophis. Right now, the way it's modeled with the orbital elements as they are. Okay, it clearly misses the Earth. Now, in the case that this was another asteroid or another object that threatens the Earth, if we modify the angle of this, the trajectory angle, ever so slightly at a great distance, or at the apogee, which is the furthest point in its orbit, a slight modification in angle at a great enough distance would translate into a very large change in its approach angle at the Earth, or a very large change in its distance, or an increase in its distance, reducing the threat. So some ideas there are proposals to launch a series of benign missiles merely as kinetic impacting weapons to literally crash into the asteroid, moving it, changing its trajectory ever so slightly, such that as it comes closer to the Earth, as that gets closer, the angle remaining the same gets wider and wider to a point where it's no longer a threat. These are some ideas, okay? Now, there's been a real, how should I say, a real interesting exchange between a YouTuber, Joe Rogan, interviewed Elon Musk recently, back on August 18th. Okay, yeah, this is what Joe says. Asteroid shock. NASA preparing for colossal God of Chaos rock to arrive in the next 10 years. That's patently not true. Ever since 2004, when Apophis was first discovered, okay, we've been working on that modeling, and it's a mature model now. If you navigate here to the NASA JPL website, and I'll leave it up here, so here, I'll highlight it, ssd.jpl.nasa.gov. It's the small planet finder, okay, or the Solar System Dynamics website for the JPL Small Body Database browser. Basically, you can browse the orbital elements of any known asteroid out there that's been cataloged, and these are the orbital elements for Apophis. Okay, the way it's modeled right now, and this data is accurate, Apophis is not going to strike the Earth, neither in its 2029 passage or in its 2036 passage. Okay, it's not a threat. Okay, so this is more of basically in a more of a more colloquial, it's more like what they would call clickbait. Okay, asteroid shock. NASA is not doing any of these preparations because the modeling is mature and very, very accurate, and suggests very clearly, not suggests, but predicts very clearly that Apophis will pass us in the 2029 passage and the 2036 passage. All the way out into the next century does not pose a threat. There could be, however, some unforeseen object that could pose a threat. Okay, so the kinetic mechanism that I explained a few moments ago is one solution. Another solution is to launch small yield nuclear weapons to the proximity of the asteroid, detonate them at a certain prescribed distance from the surface, and the shock blast from the nuclear explosion would push the asteroid, have the same effect as the kinetic impactor, push it away. That's a possibility. Okay, there's a certain danger to that. If something goes awry in the launch of a nuclear weapon, it could prove quite a danger too. Okay, so Elon Musk and the drama, if you follow this on social media, the drama for this whole dynamic that played out on the internet a few days ago about another doomsday coming from the heavens, from the sky, really is not attributed to Elon Musk so much as this gentleman here. Okay, so let's go back to Elon Musk. What does he say? Okay, Apophis is a great name. Wouldn't worry about this particular one, and he's correct, because the modeling is quite clear. It's not going to strike the Earth. But a big rock will eventually hit the Earth. That is a certainty, whether it's now or whether it's in 10 million years from now. In fact, the statistics say once every 10 million years or so, we're due for an impactor. In the same class as the one 65 million years ago that began the end of the dinosaurs. An asteroid the size of the island of Manhattan hit the Earth at 30 kilometers per second, which is the orbital speed of the Earth. The amount of energy released was literally millions of Hiroshima-class nuclear weapons detonated all at once at the same time. The asteroid literally went to the bottom of the sea. It's about, what, 8 kilometers? It's about 10 kilometers in diameter, 10 kilometers wide. Well, the sea at its deepest point is even half that. Went straight to the bottom in literally a third of a second, displacing untold enormous amounts of water into the stratosphere, releasing untold amounts of energy in an instant, vaporize everything within 100 kilometers. Okay, that was the KT boundary event that paleontologists and geologists often talk about, that was basically the death knell for the dinosaurs. Okay. So Apophis is the great serpent enemy of the sun god Ra, in ancient Egyptian lore and mythology. Okay, so the name obviously you can get a sense of why they named this as such. Okay, back at the time, back in 2004, everybody thought it was a real threat. Okay, so there is no threat from Apophis. Elon Musk basically responded appropriately, and he's absolutely correct. We will eventually, it's a matter of certainty. Statistically, it might not be now, it might not be 100 years from now, but we always have to keep a watch on the skies. We always have to have that vanguard to look and don't ignore anything. And we have to, with today's technology, at least in detecting a threat, we have it. There's no reason that we shouldn't have it. And to protect ourselves and the civilization and the world as we know it, it's on us to do that, okay? And then working out what kind of a solution and how much time we have, that's a separate discussion. But the sooner we detect it, the greater the chance we have of completely mitigating any kind of potential strike at all. Okay, a number of feature films from Hollywood, Armageddon and Deep Impact, were two famous movies, and there's a certain amount of scientific validity to their solution to land on the asteroid and plant a nuclear weapon at a certain depth in the in the asteroid that would cause it to break apart. There is a certain scientific validity to it, but the actual logistics in how you would do that would remain, even with today's technology, would be a technical challenge. Okay, so there is no threat. There is no need to, take out extra life insurance. Apophis is not going to hit us in 10 years. Okay, so no worries. Elon Musk is correct also in a sense when he says we have no defense. There is a solution. It's called a kinetic impactor. We launched a series of high-speed, high-velocity projectiles with a sufficient amount of mass. The amount of kinetic energy imparted to the asteroid could move it off course sufficiently to where it no longer is a threat. Okay, just to give you a sense, a brief calculation using basic physics this is the number here, 6 times 10 to the 19th joules of energy would be released by an object the size of Apophis if it hit the Earth at orbital velocity. The Earth's orbital velocity is 30 kilometers per second. 6 times 10 to the 19th joules, which is a 1 watt per second. A joule is a unit of energy, okay? And 1 joule per second is a watt. Okay, so this is 6 times 10 to the 19th watts of power imparted to the surface instantly, okay, within a fraction of a second. Okay, that amount of energy released is equivalent to almost 1 million Hiroshima-class nuclear weapons detonated at the same instant, at the same point, at the same time. Okay? It's about 1 million. The amount of energy released, the Hiroshima blast was estimated to release 63 terajoules. 1 terajoule is 10 to the 12th, 1 with 12 zeros after it, amount of energy in joules. All right, that's 1 terajoule. The Hiroshima blast was 63 terajoules. Okay, so this is almost 1 million times more powerful. If Apophis were to hit the Earth at orbital speed, 30 kilometers per second, which is the Earth's orbital speed, that's how much energy would be released at that moment, at that instant, in one place at one time. Okay, so that is a real concern, and we have to, be always on our vanguard, always be vigilant, looking for these threats. So every additional eye on the sky, the 30-meter telescope on the large island of Hawaii, for example, would always be an asset. Okay, and a lot of these, there's a project underway being built down in Chile, the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope. One of its tasks will be to look for these threatening Earth asteroids, near-Earth objects. Okay, so constant vigilance is always the name of the game, and we can work out a solution with it. Given enough time, our options are, can be quite broad. But with the decreasing amount of time between discovery and the threat, the deadline, the less amount of time we have reduces the amount of options we have to mitigate the threat. Okay, friends? That's just something to think about. I wanted to put this video out to our audience and our subscribers as a just to allay any fears you might have that we're going to, get hit by the god of darkness, Apophis. It's not going to happen, folks. Not with Apophis. And there's nothing on the horizon as of yet. Okay, as always, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Subscription to our public website is always free. Right on the home page, click join. If you find this video educational and helpful, please do share. And thank you for your support, and always keep looking up.